Hey everyone, please subscribe to my podcast. The goal is to reach 1 billion followers so that I can start a company and solve the Jeffrey Epstein murder all by myself. Let's do this! Yeah. What about you?
I live in Fasala.
Really?
Yeah. We lived there in the last over 30 years. I actually bought a nice place in a village called Yarkona.
Okay.
You never heard about it?
No.
It's a nearby. It's a village which is probably somebody told me it's the nearest village to Tel Aviv. It's very close to Hod HaSharon.
Okay.
Which is a small city northeast of Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
And so we bought the land there. And I built quite a nice house. I said, come on, I like it here. I know the place. I know my friends around it. She's a religious. She gives a lecture at the synagogue every week for several years already.
Yeah.
So we stayed. I gave the house to my son. It's okay.
Wow.
It's good to be my son. You can be. I finish it. But and I do whatever I'm doing, which is actually quite a lot of things, and enjoy life. What do I do?
Wait, I want to stop you because I read your book, or I read like 80% of it.
That's nice.
Because you did say in your book you don't have to read the whole thing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely perfect. Yes.
I do intend to finish it, but and
you read the English one or the Hebrew?
Yeah, in English.
English.
Yeah.
The truth, you read it. I didn't read it because somebody made translation, and I hope it's not terrible because I didn't bother to read it. But is it okay?
Well, so I want to say you said that you enjoy life, and your writing style is very playful.
I have my style.
No. It's not a criticism.
Sure.
It just seems like that's your. It sounded like your personality was coming out in your writing.
I hope so. Yeah. I wrote it just no. People ask me whether somebody wrote it for me. Of course not. As I wrote in the book, I went for 4 weeks into a place.
Yeah.
It's a venue in Switzerland.
Right.
And every day, this was maybe among the best 4 weeks of my life. First without my wife. It's so no wife. No kids.
Why was it the best 4 weeks of your life?
Because every day I woke up when the sun woke me up. And so no alarm clock. This was the word, no alarm clock. I hate waking up with an alarm clock.
Yeah.
And then I was alone, but I wasn't alone at the set side, but at the best side. I could do whatever I want to do. So every day I walked 2.5 hours, and the views are amazing. This was wow. If you haven't been to Switzerland, to Wengen, go to Wengen.
Yeah.
Best place to walk around and to see places. Every place is a pina. It's amazing. And then I came to my hotel, which I was the only one in the hotel.
I remember, yeah.
Actually, the hotel had 5 floors, so I got the top floor, the whole floor. She said, okay, you can take whichever room, put your refrigerator. I bought something so I can cook to myself.
Yeah.
And I was cooking to myself, and I enjoy making my own food, by the way. I even here, everybody orders food. I'm the only one who makes his food. People say, you waste time. Say, it takes me 5 minutes. It takes you more than 5 minutes to decide which food you want. I'm making the food at this time.
Yeah.
So I every day went to the Coop, that's the supermarket, and bought. And the way the Swiss people are, they don't buy for the whole week. They buy, 2 tomatoes, 1 cucumber. There is something nice that you buy the food of today. Yeah.
Right.
So every day I made my food. I ate my food. I wrote a book. I took time, yeah? And here and there I did some emails just to be in touch with my guys. No responsibility. So and you know, all my life, from the age of 22, I'm responsible for something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even now, you had to come to this meeting, you had a schedule. I appointed somebody to run. I had a company. I appointed someone to become the CEO later. And so, you know, hey, I'm free to myself to do whatever. And I had a lot of time to think about life, about myself. What do I want to do? How to do? And all of it while walking about.
Yeah.
How could it be better?
Yeah. Do you still walk now?
Yeah, I walk a lot. I walk about 15,000 steps a day.
Really?
I prefer doing calls over video calls, if I can. Not always, but you know, some. With my people, I do calls. I don't do video calls.
But I remember, I think in the book you said that it's impossible to think and do a call and walk at the same time.
No, you can't. No, you can walk, of course, but you cannot. Thinking is another issue. But no, generally, I over the years, you know, just 8 years from the time I read the book, when I talk with my people, I go and I talk with them, and yeah, I can do it. Well, it's not an issue.
Do you have walking meetings?
Which means, yeah, sometimes. But now in this place, it's a problem. I used to have in the previous place. I used to be in Yarkona. It's a village.
Right.
That's where I bought
your son lives. Yeah.
Because I like the place very much, and then every meeting I was walking actually. I do like walking and talking.
Yeah.
It's such a great idea that many years ago somebody invented the product walkie-talkie. Joking. Sonny, remember? Yes.
Yeah, of course. I was even alive back then.
No, when walkie-talkie was invented.
When it was invented, yeah.
Walkie-talkie. No, that was the name, walkie-talkie.
The little two-way radios, right?
Yeah, 20 years ago, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we used to get those as kids. I don't know.
That's right. Yeah.
You didn't invent that, did you?
No.
You have invented some pretty...
No, I'm not so talented. That's stupid invention. Everybody makes toys out of it, which is not in use anymore. Who is using USB flash drive? No one. Yeah. Everything is in the cloud.
It's amazing.
But you know what's funny? There was 6 months ago. There was I was really surprised, but there was a survey published in New York Post, which I never heard this paper, but they told me it's quite a popular paper in New York.
Yeah.
New York Post.
Yeah.
And the survey was regarding the most influential entrepreneurs in the modern world, all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can guess, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is Bill Gates, and then comes the guys from Google, and then Elon Musk, and Steve Jobs, and then number 20 is this guy, Larry Ellison. Mm-hmm. You heard about him? Mm-hmm. And I'm number 21.
Wow.
Which is, hey, why do I think that I'm influential? You know, it's nice. It gives you some good feeling, you know, to see your name in the list. But then you see the list and you see that all of the guys in the list, all of them, at no exception, all of them are billionaires. I'm the only one who, I have some money, but you know, I'm not a billionaire, I'm not even $100 million guy. So I say, hey, these guys, probably all of them are not just influential, they're smart. I'm stupid, yeah.
Well, that actually, you made an interesting observation that no one uses your invention anymore.
Yeah.
How does that?
That's great. That's technology. Kill the current product, move to the next one. If everybody was using the same technology all the years, what would they have? All these engineers would be doing nothing. We, the VCs, we would be sitting here and wait for somebody to knock the door.
Well, yes,
so,
but on the other hand, I was talking about this with an investor a while back, and I was saying just how wonderful it is now in this period of humanity with so much wealth and material comfort, and it's never been this good in those terms, right? And how fast things are advancing, right, technologically. And yet he made the point, just I think a really good point, that actually if you compare the life of someone who was, let's say, in 1850 and to someone who was alive in 1920, that's vastly different, right? Or whenever, if you want, maybe I think there were airplanes in the 1920s, but you get the point, right? Cars, airplanes, you know. Yeah, and we still have those things today. Right. Those things lasted more than a lifetime. Whoever the hell invented those things, they got to see everyone it just exploded across the rest of the world. Maybe they didn't see it, but it just the thing took off. And now you do something that, you know, the disc on key explodes, and then it just, you know, just as quickly as
just steps on the progress. There is a progress. There is a constant progress over the last thousands of years. Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, and even I talk about 1,000 years because there was a progress. And sometimes somebody decided that they should have how do you say biuv?
Biuv?
Yeah.
Sewage.
Sewage.
Yeah.
Hey.
Where you collect the shit.
Yeah, that's right. Collect the shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very important. Think about life without it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And somebody at some time came with an idea. How about having these holes and we collected them? Hey, he was amazing. This was great. The first time somebody thought about it and made it happen. This was amazing. Then somebody said, hey, why should we just ride on the horses? You know, cha. Let's put a wagon, connect it, and have the wheels connected to the horse. Wow, what a progress. That's amazing. And then came somebody else. Not exactly Henry Ford, but, you know, it's say, hey, let's have a car. And here is a car. And you know how fast the cars were driving originally?
No.
12 kilometers per hour. So fast. Wow. You know, you run very fast. You cannot even run as fast as you can. At least you can run faster, you know, for a very short time.
Right.
And then, so we are living in a world where the technology continues and technology in any area, which are currently it's computers, networks, internet. You know, I think that bioconvergence is going to be very, very large.
Bioconvergence is?
Bioconvergence is connecting technology and biology. Understanding what's happening in our body.
Okay.
Smarter. I just spoke with my PA. She was sick in a stupid virus for over a week. And she told me how much she suffered. I do believe that. Give it enough years. 20 years, 100 years, 200 years. There won't be viruses, or there will be viruses, but our body will know how to sense them and how to kill them.
Because what will be enhanced somehow technologically? I mean,
somebody smart will invent something. Yeah.
Not you, of course.
No. I do invent. I do. No. It's. I'm still. You know, I can say very bad things about myself. One good thing which I can say about myself is that I think that I'm very innovative, very creative.
Okay. So. I
still invent stuff. I have many patents. I have. When I go to my companies, sometimes I'm the guy say, "Hey, this is not the right product. I have another idea. Let's discuss it, or let's do things which are not the right way. They're in the box. Let's go out of the box." But it's not me that is going to develop it. There should be a lot of background, a lot of knowledge. That should be progress with other people that are dealing with that for many years. But this will arrive.
So you're like like a Leonardo da Vinci who's, you know, dreaming up of helicopters and things like this?
No. Come on. Not
well, you know what I mean.
1% of Leonardo da Vinci.
Nobody is, but you know what I mean. Like you have these dreams. For example, in your book you talk about fantasies.
Yeah.
Right, that you should constantly fantasize about the product that
yeah. When you want to develop, to build a startup, you need to fantasize. You need to think about, hey, how it's doing great, and everybody's using it and enjoy it, and people really get excited about that. Yeah. If you cannot have this picture, you're doomed. You won't succeed. Your product is not good enough.
Did you have that when you were developing the disc?
USB flash drive? Yeah, of course. By the way,
really?
Yeah, quite USB flash drive. In America, no one knows this company. This is only.
Oh, sorry. Okay, the flash drive. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Really?
By the way, yeah.
What were those fantasies like?
So let's say people would actually transfer data, give data one to the other, and by the way, I had things which I thought that were much more than what really happened, because I saw that. For example, I thought about medical records, that everybody, at least before the cloud, so we need to understand this is exactly 25 years ago, 1998. The idea of USB flash drive came to my mind in 1998. And I saw that, in these days, you know, people, even within a hospital, didn't transfer anything by network. they had files. So I said, instead of having files, you would plug you will get your data, medical data, into this device. And then anywhere in the hospital, or you go to your physician, you plug it in, and it gets to see all the data, the video, the ultrasound, whatever other data. And people will carry it with them, because if somebody got hit by a car and will go to a hospital, they would take his key and plug it into the computer so they can see who he is, and if he's sensitive to some medicine, they won't give it to him. That was part of it. The dream was much, and finally it was, hey, people are transferring files with them or doing backups.
Wow. So you were like imagining car crashes.
And by the way, the name Disco Key came from the fact that I looked at it as a key to the computer. So when you come to your computer, you plug it in, and then it opens the computer. And when you plug it out, it shut off the computer. Never happened. Yeah, I had many dreams. I still have many dreams. Some of them happen, some of them don't.
How often do the dreams and reality converge?
I would say once in a lifetime, because I had many dreams that really happened. Some of them are happened, by the way, in a much larger way than what I thought, of course.
Really?
Yeah, of course. And some of them are unrelated to technology. I'll give you maybe one example from the last month. I played in a band. I played music. I played bongos.
Bongos?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I played 3.5 years. I began with bongos because I love music. I did a story how did I get to that at all, but I began to play.
Tell me the story.
I began to play 3.5 years ago. We did a activity, and my people, I have amazing people. I work with amazing people. My people had an idea to bring Shalva. Shalva is a band, and most of the people there, other people there, they have their difficulties. So it's not a regular band. Now the singer is blind, which is amazing. She's blind. Some of them have their own limitations, movements, or but they are amazing people. And it's a great band. And I thought about it. I said, maybe I'll do something. I'll go and play with them, because, hey, by the way, everybody has limitations. Maybe they're not exposed the way this is exposed with this people.
Right.
But there is some message that say, hey, we take these guys, and everybody has his. So I said, I have an idea. I want to play with them. I said, okay. I got a call from the manager of the band. He said, hey, what do you want to play? I said, I don't know exactly, because what do you play? I said, play nothing. I said, you can play in the Darbuka. Darbuka is it's a very, very simple tool. I said, okay. Then he said, listen, but again, you're a professional, so you have to come and I have to test to see if I don't want you to spoil our performance. You have to come and to go through tests and to do some rehearsals. I said, okay, I passed the test. I came to rehearsals. I really enjoyed from the interaction, the people, you haven't been to a rock band or something like that, never.
Did I play in a rock band?
Yeah.
I'm a Jew. We don't do these things.
Some of them are doing it.
Actually, that's true.
The drummer of R.E.M. is a Jewish guy.
No, but this country is full of rock bands also.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Right. I take it back.
Take it back. Yeah, take it. Maybe you're not a Jew. Maybe in Venezuela you don't play rock. But anyway, music. But anyway. So I enjoyed very much. And then I said, okay, let's go to a music store. It was nearby my office, this office. I'll buy something, and I'm for myself. So I bought bongos, which is these small drums.
Yeah.
But the guy who sold me this drum said, we have a group which is playing every week here, and if you want to practice, maybe you can play with that. I said, okay. I went. Then there were bongos, which are the large congas, which are the large ones. And I said, can I join? He said, of course, yeah. Let's see. And I began to play with them. Clearly, I neglected the bongos. Congas is much more impressive. And by the way, I thought it's very simply, hey, it's two drums. What what can you do with that much? No, it's so complicated. After you get to understand how to play,
Really?
not just learn the rhythms. It's how do you touch it? Do you touch it like that?
Oh, I
Or
see.
do you touch it like that? Or do you give it or clamp like on the side, or do this, or and the combinations, and hey, it's a whole. I know people that are playing congas 24 years, and they tell me we are still learning how to play.
Wow. But that actually makes sense, because if you think about how there are basically an infinite amount of angles that your hand can land on, and infinite
lot of stuff.
angles and force, right?
Exactly.
And that'll create different kinds of sounds.
And where do
Wow, interesting. Are there notes? How does that work?
No, you listen and you play.
Okay, no wonder it takes 24 years.
So anyway, I began to play, and then we said, okay, let's perform. And we have to perform. And when we went to our performance, I had an idea. I do have ideas sometimes. And my idea was, it was just a performance, and there are many, how do you say, chobevim?
Fans.
Fans,
Oh.
no, fans is non-professional.
Right, sorry, yeah.
Bands that are playing,
Amateurs.
Amateurs, yeah, and amateurs, always coming to see amateurs, probably their friends, their family. But I want to do something which is more. So I said, let's have something. Let's have a performance where we play our music, but between one song to the other, I talk about the connection between entrepreneurship and music. And there is huge connection, huge. You have to listen to it. I won't go through the whole story.
Why not?
Hey, do you want us to finish within half an hour? We want to. So anyway, and you are invited to come to one of our performances. Ask Ben to put in the list. We usually don't sell tickets. It's fully booked. Yeah. So anyway, we began doing that. Began a great success. We are filling the halls. Yeah. People are coming, and I understood the formula, which I really didn't understand 100%. Sometimes you have an idea, you don't really understand 100% of the effect or why, but it's on you. You feel it. You know what I'm talking about? So here, people would not come to hear me talking an hour and a half about entrepreneurship. Hey, come on, don't want to talk about entrepreneurship. It's not worthwhile coming. People will not come for an hour and a half of some amateurs playing music. But if it's this combination, first it's interesting, it's different, it's surprising, and it's good because it's not just a lecture, it's music. And it's not just music, it's music, but there's a purpose. It's like they can justify coming to hear the music because, hey, actually they learn about entrepreneurship, startups, stories from my past about failures. I usually don't tell about my failures. My success stories come out. Most of my life, I have more failures than success stories, I believe. So, and by the way, you learn from failures. You don't learn from success stories. Success stories, you can't copy. Failures, you can learn maybe what to eliminate.
Right.
And that's now, so one dream, which is probably for every music band, is to play with the Philharmonic.
Wait, with the bongos?
No, Philharmonic.
No, but what would you
play? With the congas.
With the congas.
The whole band. So my band, a month ago, played in Chalat this theater.
In Abima, right.
Yeah, nearby Abima. Yeah. We played with the Philharmonic.
No way.
This was really amazing. Really amazing. So, yeah, some of the dreams are happening. Sometimes good things are happening.
Wait, was that a fantasy of yours to play with them, or it just sort of happened?
No, we spoke in the band. We said, hey, we wish you could play with the Philharmonic. And it was a great combination because this is Philharmonic. And we are playing, rock. But the combination sometimes of Philharmonic and rock. We play soft rock, not the hardcore. We play 50 Ways to Live Your Life. We play, in Hebrew, there is a song of Arik Einstein. Everybody wants to be a singer.
Okay.
כל אחד רוצה להיות זמר.
Okay.
If not a singer, play an artist, if not an artist.
Yeah.
We took this song, we changed the words, we made it, everybody wants to be a founder. If not a founder, and if not CEO, CFO, not CFO, then CRO, CMO,
So I
by the way, we put into it some reps. So this is the part I talk. I say everybody wants to be a founder. If not high tech, then mid tech, ag tech, medtech, low-tech, no-tech, chemotech, yeah. So it's fun. And by the way, when we played with the Philharmonic, in the middle of the song, we put a line from the Tikva. Na, 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 you know.
Oh, wow.
And not too long, because our concern was that, hey, people, when you stand up, what do you when you hear a Tikva? You stand up, yeah? It's it's the answer. Okay. And it's the combination of Philharmonic, us, this kind of music there with theirs, and changing the songs. Wow.
Do you have an obsessive personality? Like if you're gonna go into the congas, you're doing it disciplined.
I don't know. I don't think so.
No.
People may think they tell you that yes, but I don't know. I tell you one thing which I can't tell clearly about myself, which I learned over the years. I'm a late bloomer in everything I'm doing, and until today I'm a late bloomer. If there is a game or there is some race or whatever, I will not be the guy who understands very fast what to do and be the first one from the beginning. If you think about a race, so there are, let's say, 50 people that should participate. Well, I would come as number. I would come there. I would look around and try to understand why they are running, yeah, and which direction and when should we begin. And then the guy who shoots poof, everybody is running. I still will wander around to understand what exactly are we doing here, yeah. Where should I run? Okay, they are running there. Okay, I'll begin to run. But then, over the way, some people will drop out, and others will become tired, and I will continue. I'm not saying that I'll become number one, probably, but I will become among the first ones.
Number 21 in some lists.
No, I will. If it's out of 50, I'll do even better. Number 21 was from a very long list.
It's so interesting to think about entrepreneurship. I mean, you made the connection to music, and I actually do see the artistic. I can see the artistic quality of entrepreneurship. I mean,
the artistic or autistic?
You answer that question. No, but in all seriousness.
One thing which I can say about myself very clear, I'm not autist. Yeah? By the way, I do see entrepreneurs, which are, some of them are nearby. They are in the spectrum. Some of them are very smart, so they can hide the autism. Some of them are deciding, are so smart. It really comes together in most cases. It allows you, when you are having a deficiency, it strengthens you in some other areas. So some of them are so strong and so smart, maybe because their full attention is regarding solving problems, designing, planning.
Right.
I'm not of these kinds. I'm people first.
So
I'm very proud of that.
I do remember that I read a book. It's one of those books that you buy in the airport. You know, these pop nonfiction type books, and I think it was called something to do with psychopaths. And there was a study done that people who fill high pressure jobs, like judges, political leaders, they score high on the psychopath.
I will never be. Of course, I will never be a judge, and I will never be a politician. No way I'll be a politician.
Right.
I was offered many times.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
Why did you turn it down?
Because I think that it requires wasting a lot of good time on nonsense. It's because it's faking, because it's pretending, it's not being yourself. Because I think that to be a good politician, you have to be a little bit crook, and it's not me. I can't be. So I'm highly involved. I think it's a really important part of our life. I think that everybody should be involved and participate and derive for good governance.
But hang on, let me argue back, because again, reading your book, you highlight all these stories about these tales in your business life, right? About, I can't remember, some Japanese CEO of conglomerate comes to you, and he's like fishing, he's trying to smell you with he's just not really getting to the point, and you smell something, like there's some sort of strategic thing going on here. I'm sure in your whole life you've seen so much, right? And you've sold companies, you've started companies, you've fired people, you've hired people. You've probably seen such a wide spectrum of human behavior, and I'm sure you know how to strategize, right? And how to,
of course.
But also it's also how to lead people and how to create take an idea, something that started in your mind, and then convince other people that this thing is real, right? And lead them, which is not far from what a politician does.
No, I think it's very different. If you look at I can look at Israel mostly, but even if you look at America, look at the politicians there. Very, very few people in their history made a success by being themselves, telling their opinion. Sure. They had to play a lot of games. They had to go to the name in Hebrew. They say go to bar mitzvah. What's the meaning of God? If you're a Likud party and you want to be elected, you have to go to every bar mitzvah, stupid celebration of everybody in of the members of the Likud, because if you come, they'll vote for you. If they won't come, hey, come on. I have all wedding. I never go to bar mitzvah. I don't go to wedding except with very, very close family. I go to Shiva. I do go to every Shiva of everybody that I know him. That's because it's a good opportunity. I hate these parties, noise, food. Really, any part of this sequence, these celebrations. I hate every part of them.
But when someone does, you're all over that.
I go because it's a chance. I go because it's a chance to talk with people very quietly and learn about their parents and their life and how they were when they were kids and stuff like that. And I get a lot from that. And I get and I give. I believe that I give as well. Because for people, when they are in such a situation, I think that this is very important to them to talk about their father or mother or brother sometimes, and in the age that people are talking about relatives. And,
do you not think though that people unmask themselves in weddings? I mean, bar mitzvah, it's
all artificial. All these weddings, weddings and bar mitzvah, it's all artificial. Come on, it's all big lights.
I'm trying to think about my wedding, and
your wedding was special.
No, I acted very unlike myself in the wedding. I mean, I said to myself, I'm usually a very reserved guy. I don't like too much attention. I mean, everyone likes attention, but I don't like to be the center of it. And but that night, I did some crazy stuff. We had a band and we had a stage, and I just jumped off the stage, and people caught me in the air, and it was just fun. It was just the one night of my life where I could just be the rock star.
Most of the weddings are exactly the opposite. Well, the guy is wearing his tie, which he never wore in his life. He looks like that. And the bride, she's after a full day at the hair, the one who makes her hair, she's really, really bad because her hair was wonderful before. She wasted a full day on just ruining her hair, and she's wearing. And she goes with a T-shirt which looks great on her, but now she wears some stupid dress. Come on, what's the story? I don't understand this stuff. So I don't go to this. And if you are a politician, you have to go to each one of them and play the game. Hey,
the thing is,
I'm so happy to come to your son's bar mitzvah. Come on, you hate the guy. You clearly hate his son. Yes.
I guess maybe you're in this. I'm just trying to think along your lines that a politician, if they speak their true self, they can really only speak to a very niche audience.
That's right.
And if they want to reach the masses, the big, then they have to sacrifice all the stuff that it's going to piss some people off. I suppose that's one way to look at it, right? That's the traditional model. But is there a way though that you can stick with the things that appeal to people, like love and courage and honesty and things like this?
Let's cut it short. I'm 67. It's too old for me to do that. Anyway, so that doesn't matter.
No, it's just
all my life, because I want to be innovative. I want to be creative. I want to develop. I want to support startups. I want to be with entrepreneurs. Okay,
so I love that. And to get back to the artistic point, I mean, do you is part of it, you know, living it secondhand from
Autistic point?
the art
Artistic. Okay, yeah.
artistic, yes. That look, an entrepreneur, right? They have an idea, right? And then they want to manifest something in the world, and you know it works if it connects to one person, 10 people, 100, a million, a billion, right? That's that's the size of the idea, how successful the company is. But it's still an expression of reality, right? That doesn't exist yet, and you have to go about convincing people. So there's this whole complicated thing about how much you want to charge and how you want to package it and blah 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 blah. And it's this journey to express this feeling you have, right? This sense that reality can be different. And different not because it's some crazy idea that you have, but it's some crazy idea that you just have this feeling inside of you that's going to resonate with hopefully many, many people. That's kind of what art is. Right? It's pushing the boundaries of human existence, you know?
Absolutely. Pushing the boundaries clearly. And in entrepreneurship, people tend to look at entrepreneurship as something which is technology. It's nonsense.
It's not, yeah.
It really relates to design. It relates to art. It relates to writing, to imagination.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something which I never told anybody. So this is the first time somebody hears about it, about myself, which I do believe that now it's, and by the way, just nowadays, looking backward, I understand the connection of that. So I was good at maths when I was in high school.
Good at
maths, physics. I was very good in maths. Again, I didn't begin, but when I finished my high school, I was solving every test, all the questions at half the time.
Mm-hmm.
Doing the Bagut was the tests. This was like nothing. Went to Technion. Hey, everybody is smart. Took me. The first semester I was shocked, but then I learned the concept. And then last year in Technion, I just did like going to swim. Yeah. I understood the concept, but one thing which I saw people get to think about me as somebody who understands, understands mathematics, physics, mm-hmm. very, very realistic stuff. But two things about myself which no one knows. When I was in high school, last year of elementary school, I remember there was a teacher that we had painting lessons in the class. I think that this was maybe 8th grade, maybe 7th grade. And, there was a Russian lady that was teaching us, which I didn't like so much. She didn't like me. I didn't think it's important. I didn't give it any attention. So I was, if we had to come and to prepare something at home, then we should come everybody should come. And I didn't bother. I didn't like to do homework. So, when I came to the class and said, okay, let's finish I didn't have time, because I didn't begin at home. So I had to do all of it at the class. So I remember doing some flowers, but I really just put the paint over the page. Yeah.
Okay.
And then a lady, מפקחת, it's somebody who monitors the classes, came to visit exactly this day. And she went and looked at the page, and when she got to my page, she said, wow, this is so amazing. This is the class of, she said the name of one of the most impressionist painters, because, hey, the yellow and I just paint colors, that is bullshit. But she said, this is the nicest thing I saw in the last week. I'm going to take it. If you give me the permission, I'm going to take it. There is a competition of paintings worldwide. You're going to be the guide. Yeah. And then the teacher, from this time, she was looking at me as every bullshit I've done. She was telling everybody, you have to look at the picture, the painting of Dov, because this is like whoever. Yeah.
Wait, did you win this contest? Did you win this contest?
No, I don't know. I think that this maybe the painting to something else. And then when I was in Technion, I went to classes. The first year I went to classes, then I understood that there's no reason to go to classes, it's a waste of time. So I was very bored, not because I understood, because I probably do have ADHD, borderline something. So sitting on a class, it seems, I'm not sure whether some people that I talk know the feeling. When you have ADHD, the teacher speaks too slow, and you're going to understand what he's going to say. Yeah. So then it becomes very boring, and you have to do something else. But anyway, even today, sometimes when we have people talking here, I walk in the room.
No way.
Yes, they all understand.
They understand.
I explain it. I'm ADHD. I can walk. Okay. It keeps me more alert. It keeps me more focused. I'm less tired. I asked my 15,000 steps. Don't forget.
No wonder. Okay.
So I was sitting there, and I was hey, I know what he's going to say. So it's boring. So what do I do? So I used to people used to smoke. Remember that. In the classic, yeah. So every second guy had a cigarette and a matching box. In the matching box, at the back side of the matching point, it's a white area.
Okay.
So every lesson I would take matching box or match boxes from the guys around me, and I would make small paintings on them. Very, very small paintings. I was expert on making small paintings. Yeah. View dogs, house with the river.
Oh my God. On matchboxes?
On matchboxes, yeah. And someone told me that unfortunately I didn't sign the boxes, people could keep them, and maybe they could have some value. What I plan to do one of the days, and I will do it because I dream about it, yeah. I'm going to do art. I know what I'm going to do. I want to do art, which is painting, which I take a painting, which I'll do and stretch it and do stuff with computer help, and then put on top of it minsarot. Minsara is where it's from glass, and when you put light, the light breaks up. So many of those in variety of situations, and put from the sides lights, and I can control the lights. So it's a painting which is actually three-dimensional with lights that are changing so it's a living sort of a living sculpture or painting.
Wow.
That's something which I love to do it now.
You've done this before?
No, never.
Okay.
But I know I'm going to do it. That's not the next project, but it's going to be one of things I will do in my life. Yeah.
So you have this idea, and it really excites you, and you decided, okay, I'm going to do it. Yeah. What is stopping you from doing it now?
Time. I don't have enough time to sleep currently.
Not enough time to sleep?
Yeah, because I have so many things to do. I work very hard. I do have my band I told you about. I finished writing my second book, actually.
What's it about?
The name is Yahadut. Yahadut.
Judaism?
No, it's with Ein.
Okay. Okay. So it's like goal-oriented stuff?
It's targetism, if I can translate it to English.
Okay.
Targetism would be the right word. Target. There is no such word.
Right.
Targetism.
Yeah.
There is no such word in Hebrew, Yahadut.
Right.
I invented the word. I do believe that this will become a word, and people in the future will talk about Yahadut. Yeah.
But that's fascinating, because it's a shift in consciousness. I don't even know what it means, this targetism, but I presume it's like
talking about life.
It's
talking
life.
about life. Why do you do what you do? What's behind it?
Right.
Money, name, girls. What's new, of course.
Well.
Also, my wife might watch it, right? Yeah. So what's behind it?
Well, so you said something again in your book, in your first book, that was interesting. I found interesting, and it kind of it made me stop and think about myself. And you said, if you feel like you have something to prove, then don't go and start a company.
Yeah, I think if this is if this is what you want to do, this is what behind you. If this is the motivation, that's a big mistake.
Because
it's a stupid reason. because you don't need to have external approvals to what you
Right.
are. And when you establish a company to prove to others, basically, that you are good or smart or whatever, it's a stupid idea.
But there is. I hear you. There is though. This,
By the way, it's a stupid idea, and it will influence what you are doing. It will lead you doing mistakes.
right, because it puts the ego at the front of
That's right, yeah.
of the enterprise.
And when you take decision, when you are establishing a company or running a company actually is it's a process of many decisions taking.
Right.
And if you put ego into decision taking, very bad. This is very bad.
Right.
You will fail.
But okay, so this takes us essentially to the relationship between the self and all the other selves in the world, because there is still that interplay between what we think and do, the I, self, and how that translates to the other selves around us. So it's not that I have to prove myself that I'm smart or hardworking or whatever, although those things are necessary, I think, to succeed in entrepreneurship. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think they're good predictors, right? How hard you work and how smart you are. You still have to prove something to other people. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's not those things, but it's how well you can sense what provides value to other people. Like,
I tell you, we are in what I do today. I'm part of the fund, Grow Ventures. I established the fund. We are deep tech fund. We do see in a year about 1,500 opportunities of investments. Many of them are bullshit, but really, honest, if I really take the right ones and the ones that we are meeting, I would say that this is something like about really meeting them, talking to them, getting deeper into what they are doing. This is about 300 to 400 in a year. Yeah, it's a lot. We are 4 partners, fortunately, so we can divide it among ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But I do see many such opportunities. I do meet many entrepreneurs. We learn through the time how to rip off the masks.
Yeah.
The guys who are coming to impress you with how smart they are.
Right.
Come on, I don't like it. It's a negative point.
Right.
I want people that I know that what I see is what I get. And the guys who are coming like, I did this, I know this guy, I did that. Now in the army I was, hey, no. One of the questions, I always ask the questions, why do you do what you do? And what leads you? And how do you think about this company? What will it make to you to become success? And it's interesting to see responses of people. You need to impress the other side, but practically yourself, because at the end of the day, if we are going to build relations, I'll get to know you anyway.
Right.
If I got the wrong impression, this will work against you.
And so this is another thing. When I think about this, when I think about your line of work right now, right, venture capital investing. So you see 1,500 companies, which is an amazing amount of people, right? Strangers, essentially, right? Maybe you've met some of them before, but
99% strangers.
99% of these people you've never met, you don't know anything about them except for where they live, right?
Yeah.
And what they're up to now.
Or even not.
Exactly, right. And they come to you and say, essentially, give us money, right? Here's our idea. Here's what we think. Here's where we think this thing is going to be in 2, 3, 5 years, right? And the idea being is like, okay, I'm giving you money because I trust you to make that stuff more or less happen, right? But it's such a wild, it's such a statement of faith in these people, right? That you say, I'm cutting you a representation of my trust in you that you can do this, and I don't know that much value, and that there's no way that you can know how these people are going to behave in the next 200, 500, 1,000 really tough scenarios of the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, right? Because entrepreneurship is so hard,
But that's exactly the reason that a good VC is making due diligence. With the bad VCs, I heard the stories from 2 years ago, last year, or even a year ago, of those VCs that they did a phone call, and after 30 minutes, say, okay, we'll give you a check, $6 million. We don't do it. We never do it.
Right.
I think that this is totally a behavior which is non-professional, bad, puts all the VCs, give all the VCs a bad reputation.
Sure.
We do a very thorough due diligence. We ask about every one of the founders. We'll ask at least 3, 4, 5 people that worked with him, served with him in the army, learned with him at university. We'll go and take the subject and cut it into pieces and try to check each one of them.
Wow.
Is it feasible technological, just technology-wise? Is it, can you market it? Can you sell it? What's the competition? Is it protected by patents or knowledge, which is very, very unique to these guys? How about other things similar to that was done in the past? Did they succeed? Did they fail? Why did they fail? It's a process. When we invest, it's a process where there's a group of smart guys, not me, of course, but other guys, that are working very hard in order to really analyze this subject on any aspect, any direction, and then take a decision whether we really invest or not. And when we invest, we don't take the money, whenever you sell the company, come and give us our portion. We are always highly participating in the company's life. In all the investment I've done, I'm on the board. In majority of them, I'm the chairman of the board. I'm highly involved. I will fly. Last 2 months ago, I flew with 4 of our companies to CES. So, I went from one to the other. So how did they present? And I listened to the way the CEOs talked with potential customers and how the booths looked alike. And I had me because for me it was CES number 23 or whatever. For them, for most of it, it was CES number 1. Then I went to JP Morgan and I went with 2 other companies and I arranged for the meetings with guys I know, other VCs, and I was in most of their meetings with those potential investors. Part of it because when I'm there, they will get better feedback.
Yeah.
And part of it because after the meeting, I can sit with them and say, guys, I think that we put so much time talking about the technology, which they were not interested. They don't understand anyway. Next time, let's focus more on the cost structure and more in the response we got from initial customers. And so I have them. I'm involved. I can see whether they will succeed or fail. Not 100%, but in a very high probability. Being a good VC, it's hard work. Being a VC, you can be a VC without working hard. But the other side is not.
Do you tend to invest in people that you see pieces or many pieces of yourself in them? Like, I remember when I was at that stage or that young.
I think that everybody, each one of us, 4 partners, clearly invest in people which are similar to him. Yeah.
Right.
Leo, my partner, which came from 81. 81 is a military unit, intelligence unit. It's like 80 to 100, but this is the real smart guys.
Sure.
And then a small group, which are really the best of the best. 80 to 100 is a lot of people. If somebody comes to 81, wow, he has such a high chance to get investments compared to anybody else. If he goes to Leo, if somebody would come to me, I would probably speak with him more about what made him go and try to invent, or what's his qualities as a person. Yeah?
Right.
And leadership and values. Yeah, I talk a lot about values with my companies, with people that come to talk to me. That's everybody. And if you talk with Lotan, clearly Lotan is the youngest partner. He's less than 40. And Lotan, clearly he will look for the young people that are very energetic. How do you call it? Millennials.
Millennials, yeah.
Millennials. That's right. That's Lotan. So everybody, of course, it is a huge influence on that.
But it's do you ever look into a founder's if they're men anyway? Do you ever look into their lineage, like how their father was? Like for example, when you start your book, you talk about, I think it was your grandfather. No, your father.
Grandfather.
Your grandfather, but also your father. Your father was the one that died standing up, right?
He was on?
The one who died standing up in the hospital.
Yeah, my father.
Your father, right?
Yeah.
And the way, because you talk about tenacity and perseverance, and you talk about how your dad worked until his last days, right? 90.
2 weeks, 90 and 2 weeks.
And I just there's something interesting about the way you seem to live your life, which is full of energy and ideas. And you keep working. You're 67. You don't have time to sleep. You say. And your father, and I mean, what was it? He had a mechanic shop, right? He had a car repair shop.
Yeah.
He sold it.
Then he went to work for bank.
Right,
Then
they told him
34. They told him, hey, we can't employ you over 34. That's
right, and then
he came to work at M Systems, my company.
Right, and he was your driver, right?
Initially, he was my driver. Then he took other jobs, and then I left. I sold the company to Sandisk, and I left the company. Yeah. He stayed there till he died. Yeah.
And what's so fascinating about that is that it's just that those last moments. I mean, he's it's like death is coming, and he is just saying, okay, well, I'm going to stand. I'm going to stand.
Yeah. I have no idea what he had in his mind when he died, but he died standing
with dignity.
Yeah,
it's like I'm facing death with my back straight, or as much as I can manage.
Yeah, that's right.
That's incredible, Yeah. And that's a hell of an image to have. Again, I don't know what your father was really like, but if these are the lasting images of your father, that's
right.
That's a hell of a person to live up to, right? Or to follow, or to emulate.
I was very lucky. To be born to such.
But also your grandfather as well.
My grandfather and even my mother. In the new book, I noticed that I didn't write it in the previous book about my father and mother. Maybe didn't give them enough respect, and there are things that, when you become older, you begin to respect things which were not there when you were the age, you live at home, and it takes time, maybe sometimes to understand what exactly was behind it, and how come you are what you are because of your parents, for the positive side.
Yeah.
I was very lucky to have such parents.
So can you tell me a little bit about some of the thoughts that are going into your writing now?
In my mind?
In the book, in the new book. Yeah.
I'll keep it all here. You have to read it. I enjoy the book. I enjoy the process. It's a bit longer process than the process I had in the previous one. But it's actually a book which comes with pictures done by my friend, Izar Cohen. It comes with QR code, so it links to music. And actually, there is a website that it goes together with that. So every page of the book has a page on the website.
Okay.
And I can add there, and so I do see it as something which is living, and not just it's a book. Yeah, you take it, you read it, you throw it away, and people can respond as well. People can actually for every chapter there is this place on the website, and they can write what do they think about it, and stuff like that.
Okay, but they can't update the text.
And of course, I can update the text there at the website.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, of course. So it goes together. I'll see. It's interesting. I don't know anybody who did something like that. Probably there are people who did something like that, but for me, that's the first time I see it. And it's going to be an interesting experience to see how the book can be still alive after the printing.
Yeah. It's almost like it's not even just your book.
Yeah, I want to make it something that people are adding to it, and I can add pictures, and I can add more music stuff into that. Yeah.
Do you wonder though that if it will morph into something else completely, or you're giving it the structure of, okay, this is the book, this is what I think about life, I suppose. and then people start giving their opinions about what you wrote.
Absolutely, yes. I want to see other people giving their opinion, and yeah.
That's quite a lot of faith in people.
Well, I do it in a way that I can always censor. Hey, this is a must, by the way. Not because I think I promise you one thing. If Steve writes, if anybody writes, Dov Moran, you are full of shit. This is all, you're totally wrong.
Right.
Religious is wonderful, and God, of course, it exists because of whatever. The way we believe as per the religious. I do believe there is God, not this kind of God, not the God that cares about putting matzah into hospitals, yes, like the biggest issue that this country is suffering from. Matzah, matzah, chametz.
Yeah.
Chametz in the hospitals. They're running now a law for disabling. So you can write, hey, you are full of shit. Of course, God exists in, look at you and give you punishment for every good thing, bad thing you do, and heaven for being a nice person. You can write it. I won't censor that. But you need censors because crazy people sometimes like crazy stuff, and you have to eliminate it. That's part of life. Yeah. Okay.
Do you look for people?
We talked about what I'm doing, so let me just finish this. So I'm running the fund, I'm seeing these companies, I'm investing, and I'm highly supporting my companies. It's a lot of work. But we talked about innovation or creativity, then 9 months ago, I established a new company, which is not related to my fund. I brought it to my partners. I said, hey guys, I'm giving it as a present to the fund, the idea. I said, no, it doesn't fit. The fund is deep tech. We deal with semiconductors, cloud infrastructure, material, quantum computers, bioconvergence. Say, hey, no, it's unrelated. Say, okay, no problems. I found the channel, I found the CEO. They're running the company. I'm not involved.
What does it do?
What it do? It's a social network that relates to challenges. It's mini games, puzzles, maze, logical questions, stuff like that. I'll explain to you. You know, WhatsApp began as a practically social network based on messages. And then came Instagram, which was a social network based on pictures. And then came TikTok, which is based on video. I do the same. I do video like TikTok, based but with games, mini games. 5 minutes, not more than 5 minutes. It could be 1 minute. Yeah. And once you do this puzzle, or you answer these logic questions, or trivia, or you play chess against the computer, and you are measured for how many moves you are doing checkmate. Once you do that, you say, hey, I did well. Let me see how am I compared to my friends or family. So I'm sending to them. And they can compete against you. And you get to understand how much they've done.
And why games?
I really like very much logical questions and stuff like that. And I do have, you asked me about obsession. If you give me a logical question, I have to resolve it. I can sometimes walk, 10 hours.
Really?
Yeah. Fucked guy.
Okay. Wow. So, but do you...
And it disturbs, and if I find a solution, try to ask, make out of it another question which is more complicated, like what you do it if it's n, and number, 100 points, rather than 5 points. Okay. And so then, what's the formula? What's the rules? Why is that the solution? I try to learn the roots of the solution. Yeah. But so I'm in love in this kind of sort of things. Wordle?
Yeah.
I love Wordle.
I've never played it.
It's an amazing game. But Wordle, you play it. You can send the link to the game to your friends.
Is it good to go? 5 minutes?
I said everything I have to say. I have nothing to say more.
You've got plenty to say, man. You're just an explosion of ideas. I don't know where this idea for games came from, but it was in your head.
I
gripped you, and you need to put it out there.
I sent it to my family. because many of them like the games as well. And they answered, but one answered, after midnight, so they changed, it's another word, so it's not really competition. And you don't get you did it in 3 turns, he did it in 4, and Dvir and Meta did it in 6. You just don't get it. I mean, it's very sensory. I want to have it more. And more after you play 10 times, 20 times, hey, I'm tired of that. Give me something else. And so that allows you to actually do it. And that's a game. It's a big challenge.
Is the idea to connect on our ability to problem solve? Like what exactly?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and there are difficulty levels. So you can go to very easy level. And yeah, it's but you have to think. It's not like gambling or guessing and it's not a lot of things. You don't have to be a genius, but it's this kind of game. There's a maze. Think about the maze. When you enter to this, and by the way, that's another game which I invented again. So you get to see a maze, a big maze. You have to find your way. Looking, you go to it. That's the beginning. That's the end. Find a way. Okay. So it's very simple. You just look at it and you find a way. You try. But now think about such a maze where I show the way the maze. I show the maze for 15 seconds, and you can find a solution. But now, when you have to solve it, I just give you 1/9 of the maze. So you have to begin to go, and then when you get to the border, it gives you another part. So you don't get to see the full picture. You just get to see every time 1/9 or 1 divided by 16 of the maze. So you really have to remember what was the way. Should I go up here or should I go right here? Yeah, you understand?
Okay.
And if you made a mistake, you have to go back. But then you have to say, where was I? Where am I now? It makes it, I wouldn't say complicated, but it's fun. And you have to remember. You have to strategize. It's example.
The thing is, like when we bond over competition, because there is a competitive element to this. It's usually watching others compete, sports.
So here you play, and let's say you succeed to solve this maze in 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Okay.
Now you send it to your friends. You say, guys, how good are you? And they try, and then your friend is doing it in 4 minutes. So first of all, he'll be number 2, yeah? You are number 1. Then comes somebody that does it in 1.5 minutes, and then you become number 2, yes? And then you can say, hey, bastard, how did you really solve it, or you just copied from somebody?
Oh my God!
So you understand? You
like we're not already enough depressed from all these other social.
Anyway, you won't tell anybody his spread. If somebody, there'll be, let's say, 20 answers. But you can compete against the rest of the world. Yeah, you're an idiot. You're number 9,000 out of 9,500 players. We'll tell you today you are not in your best probably. Try another time. Yeah.
You gotta go.
I go.
This was so much fun.
And one more thing, last week. So we talked about things which I've done. So I read. I was good in math, but I hate paintings. And I was Katav Noah. Katav Noah is a reporter. On these days, it was very important magazine for youth. It was Mariva Noah.
Okay.
My whole school, which was probably 500 children, there were only 2 children that were Katav Noah in the whole country. There were only 30 every year.
Okay.
So
these were reporters about teenage stuff.
Yeah, teenage stuff. But I was writing, so I do have. I think that somehow it's not just being good in math; it's the writing capabilities.
Yeah.
The art capabilities. I like art. Yeah. And it's a combination. And one last thing, which it's a message. It's important for me to say.
Yeah.
And I'll say it. I'll tell you another story. I'll take another meaning. I was sitting 2 months ago with a lady. I'll hide the circumstances. I was sitting with a very top-notch, really number 4, 5, maybe number 2 executive in California. And we were talking about their company, which is not in a good shape. And at the end of the meeting, we became very good friends. And at the end of the meeting, he or she began to speak. We didn't speak about the CEO. We don't speak with the CEO about it. But she or he had a statement, and that if she thinks about it, the CEO, his problem, that in every meeting he had to feel that he is the smartest guy in the room. So I told her, listen, when I think about it very fast, about meetings I had in my life, I don't think that I ever had a meeting where I sat with somebody or with people where I was the smartest guy in the room. Then she said, is it right even at one-on-ones? I said, of course. So she was smiling. Yeah, she was smiling. And I'm sitting with you, and you are, I'm sure that you're a very, very smart guy. And I am not the smartest guy in the world. You don't have to be the smartest person. You don't have to be the nicest person. You don't have to be the most creative person. There are people which I'm sure that they are more creative than me. There are clearly people that write better than me. That's no doubt. Yeah. It a lot depends on you. What do you decide to do with yourself? And that's the only question which matters. Okay.
I wish we had more time. Thank you, Dov. היה לך כיף?
כן, בטח. גם לך היה כיף.
באמת.